Ty-nee Ty-Talk! Hello everybody, I am the one, the only, Ty-nee guy, and welcome to episode 6 of Ty-nee Ty-Talk. I really hope that you enjoyed the last episode. I know that it was a bit rough in quality, and it was rushed, but I have a very strict filming schedule this week. I want to finish this one and the next episode, episode 7 of Ty-nee Ty-Talk, because I have to get to the season finale of Video World. The first season finale of Video World. This episode will probably be about the same level of quality as the last one, and I'm sorry about that. But, like I said, I am on a strict filming schedule. There's 5 to 10 minutes for this episode of Ty-nee Ty-Talk, along with the rest of them. But this time, TYME, I want to talk about a couple things for a little bit before I get to the main part of this episode. Now, before I can tie in you, I want you to follow me on Twitter at TyNN80s if you really want to, and subscribe. So click subscribe down wherever below this video because these videos will keep getting better and better and better as I listen to all your suggestions. This has been a very rocky, messy season 1 of both Ty-nee Ty-Talk and Video World. So it will be much better in season 2 of both of these. Yay! Once again, I have on my Bo Dallas Believe shirt. And last night on Monday Night Raw, no surprise, WWE still doesn't believe enough in Bo Dallas. They had a big battle royal for Miz's Intercontinental Championship, and yes, once again they let Bo last towards the end of the match before being eliminated by that newcomer, Apollo Crews. And he's good, mind you, but he's still very new, and I don't believe that he deserves a big push like he's getting over people who have already been establishing themselves for months or years. I mean, look at Kevin Owens. He's a bigger guy, and he can fly around the ring like he's 175 pounds or less. It's amazing. He and AJ Styles are already very accomplished pro wrestlers. In my opinion, just keep on being pushed aside for these younger guys, and it really upsets me. They're the ones who should be getting the spotlight, and especially Bo Dallas. Bo Dallas, I still believe in you. So who do they have win this thing? Darren Young, who's been gone for months? Just because he gets paired up with Bob Backlund for these Make Darren Young Great Again segments over all these other guys who have worked every day. Mr. No Days Off Darren Young. Seriously? Give Bo Dallas another chance. He is so talented on the microphone. He's talented in the ring. He has so much charisma. Wake up, WWE! Okay, rant over. Moving on to the next thing. Please give me several seconds because I am going to change this Believe shirt, and I will be right back. Alright, I've got my Fictional 1985 shirt on, my bright green 1985 shirt. And now it's time, TYME, for the main part of this episode, the creation of Luey Flewis. In episode 1, I was the only character in it. In episode 2, Super Mario made his debut. I planned that rhyme out. But Super Mario is such a popular character. Pretty much everybody knows who he is. While working on episode 2, I was already thinking about wanting to have an original character for my series. Of course, he had to be family friendly. I wanted him to appeal to both kids and adults. He was going to be hyper and funny and, very importantly, a big Huey Lewis and the News fan. I combined my love of the ocean with my love of Huey Lewis and the News, and what do you get? You got Luey Flewis. The first episode that he is mentioned is Luey Flewis and the Blues, and that is episode 3. I wanted my episodes of Video World that were going to be multi-parters to not say part 1, so the people who watched them, they didn't know that a part 2 was coming. I wanted it to be a surprise at the end when it said to be continued. But then after that, it would say part 2, part 3, whatever. Luey Flewis was originally set to make his on-camera debut in this episode. But instead, I decided to just have him described and the history of the flying harmonica fish. Oh, and that's another thing. He's called the flying harmonica fish as another nod to Huey Lewis. As you know, his name, Luey Flewis. Louie's supposed to sound like Huey, and Flewis because he flies through the air because he's a flying fish. By this time, Ty-nee, you had already heard how upset he can get with his constant crying. But in episode 4, Luey Flewis and the Blues Part 2, you finally got to see him on camera and find out how annoying he can be to other characters. And here he is. He's made out of some kind of abalone or oyster shell or something like that. My dad or his roommate Ernie put this fishing line on here, and I could loop my finger around it so I could move him around. Shoom, shoom, shoom. He can move around really, really fast, and he swivels. The tail swivels like one of those snake toys, with the little colorful stickers on the segments of it on top. But he is actually an antique bottle opener. The bit of his beak there is actually there to open bottles. See? Luey Flewis is the younger version of myself, the much more ADHD version of myself. Either you like him or you don't, or you like him and you're annoyed with him at the same time, depending on how he's acting. After Luey Flewis and the Blues, I continue to develop his character by giving him his very first starring role, co-starring me in the Blue Time Adventure. Well, that's it for this episode. Join me next time, Ty-nee, for the Not So Tiny season finale. So, have a great night or day, depending on where you are, and be fantastically chipperific. Bye.